Welcome to Beyond the Front Door, where we explore the world of real estate. I'm your host, Abigail Rizzo, with Detroit RETV and Golden Bear Home Inspections. Please join me in welcoming Heather Covell from Good Company Realty.
Hi, thanks.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely.
So, can you share just a little bit about how you got into real estate? What started your journey?
Yeah, absolutely. I spent 15 years teaching. And I worked at, the last place I worked at was less than ideal. And it was the first time I'd ever walked out of a job, which was terrifying. And I decided that I was done with that part of my life. My aunt worked in mortgages and had a connection with a real estate team who was hiring inside sales agents to make outbound phone calls to set listing appointments. And I've always been pretty good on the phone. So in April of 2015, I joined their team and began my love affair with real estate.
Your love affair, I absolutely love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, are there any key decisions that you made that led to your success in the real estate industry?
Who you align with is everything. I joined this incredible team when I first went full-time into real estate. Because I spent the first 4 years as an administrative assistant. And kind of got a good wealth of knowledge about the back end of transactions, if you will, and was able to kind of make the conscious decision that I was tired of making other people money and I wanted to make myself money. So
Yes.
I went full time and joined this team that provided me with excellent relationships and great leads, and I started producing wildly in my first 4 years. It helped that, the market really kind of shifted quite a bit, especially at the beginning of COVID. And
Right.
so, I was my name was getting out there quite a bit. So, yeah, I mean, it was kind of wild, but who you align with is everything. The people that I'm aligned with now they've changed my entire life.
Absolutely. Have you been with Good Company Realty since you started?
No, I joined Good Company in July of last year.
Okay.
And spent 7 months as a solo agent here. Realized that I am much better when I'm part of a team. And I joined Michigan Living Realty, formerly Jacobs Group Realty, and partnered with Jolene Jacobs, who has partnered herself with Place. Okay. And it's like a real estate concierge service that spans brokerages. It's this really incredible program that we're part of, and really lifestyle. It's the first time I've ever heard in real estate that you should be recuperating. You should be taking care of yourself so that you can be the best agent that you can be, instead of you have to grind and hustle and hustle.
Right. Oh, so they promote work-life balance.
Oh, absolutely.
That's awesome.
They really do. They encourage it quite a bit.
That's amazing.
So
it even a bigger team than you were even initially thinking.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
That's awesome. So, is there anything you would like to say to aspiring real estate professionals out there?
Yes. Please make sure that you're aligning yourself with people who are going to train you. The class and the exam do not prepare you for a life in real estate. They prepare you to pass the exam. So partnering with people, and I highly recommend people have 6 months of reserves saved before they make the transition, because even if you start right away out of the gate, you're incredible, you're still waiting at least 45 days for your first paycheck.
100%. That's such a good point. I feel that not a lot of people touch on
absolutely
as well, that you have to have money saved before you start.
It's imperative.
It absolutely
so that your
is.
family you don't have to change the way that you live your life,
Yes.
and you can stay on top of, you hear all kinds of cautionary tales about people who got really excited and gung-ho, and they were incredible, but they went 4 or 5 months without a paycheck, and then it all kind of spirals from there.
And I bet nobody talks about those difficult months while they're waiting, even if
they
do great,
Right.
So
and the way that we are outlined our business and really structured how we do business at Michigan Living Realty is, instead of it being feast or famine, or making it look like you're driving on a road trip through Colorado,
Right.
it looks like you're driving through Oklahoma.
Okay.
You know, so like
Yep.
we're very steady, we're very intentional about spacing out our pipeline and making sure that there's enough food for the whole year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, if a budget was ever
I'm
important.
telling you, get you a good accountant as well, somebody who knows
Yes.
real estate.
A good accountant, a good lawyer, and a good real estate agent.
Absolutely.
I think is what every human on the face of this earth.
For sure.
All right, so thinking about your career, what are some of the biggest obstacles you've faced and how did you overcome them?
Oh, wow. Learning that when people say no to me, they're not saying no to me, they're saying no to the thing. You know,
Yeah.
It's not about rejection. In fact, we have bingo cards when we do call nights, like, oop, this person cussed at me. Oh, this person's hung up on me. And like we kind of make it a game instead of like internalizing it and feeling terribly about ourselves.
I think that's such a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, you
Bingo
have to
card.
know how to face rejection.
Absolutely.
Also, there's a school of thought among the public that realtors are overpaid and they don't do much work. In fact, it is the opposite. You know, there are at least 180 tasks that go into every transaction, and we do all of those tasks before we get paid. And so there's no hourly situation. We don't get 401ks. We don't get health benefits typically unless you're partnered with Place. You can call me later and we can talk about that.
Call her later and talk about that.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's a huge obstacle.
Yep, it absolutely would be.
Yeah.
So, how do you approach your client relationships?
So me and several of my colleagues here at Good Company, including our founder, Jim Schaefer, believe that it is imperative to build relationships with people instead of profit. The profit will follow those relationships, but it's people over profit for us. It's really important that I inject myself into my clients' lives so that I am top of mind always.
Yes.
I want to be invited to weddings and open houses and grad parties and birthday parties, you know, like I want to be a fixture in your life so that you have one person to call when you need a contractor, when you need an attorney, when you need a mechanic. Like
Yeah.
I have people call me for every single facet of their lives, not just real estate or home related. And so making yourself invaluable to your clients.
Absolutely. So front of mind. And then are there any other like specific strategies you might be using to ensure their satisfaction with
Oh, yeah.
your involvement?
Absolutely. Well, customer service is paramount.
Yeah.
A lot of people in this industry will obtain clients and do the transaction, and then we like to call it turn them and burn them.
Yeah.
But most of my business is referral business and repeat business because of how I interact with my clients. It's also important to like know different personality types so you can mirror and match and provide the things that they need. We rely heavily on the DISC personality profile. In case you didn't notice, I'm a high I, if you know what that means. It's just like I'm wildly social and you know that kind of thing, and I have a really good rapport. I can build rapport with anyone, no matter what.
Pretty quickly.
Even-
you seem like a safe place, I just got
I mean, you try to be what you need, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that was darling.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's on your card somewhere, right?
It should be.
It definitely
It really should be.
We should write that down. All right, so thinking about just the current landscape of the real estate market, do you have any advice for buyers and sellers specifically right now?
Sure, absolutely. You know, a lot of being a local market expert is something that's really important in real estate in general. You know, knowing the stats. In our MLS today, there were 252 new listings. 208 went pending. What's interesting to me is that 231 had a decrease in price, and 38 came back on market, which means that something happened with the transaction that fell apart. So we are seeing some pushback on pricing.
Okay.
Not a ton. You know, what we always say is if a home is priced appropriately and it's in good condition, it should go very quickly.
Right.
But we're seeing some homes where not all agents are created equally. So like you have people who are going to promise and overpromise and underdeliver. And so they tell people that, yes, there are homes that have sold for this much in your area, let's list it here. And the market's like, nah, we're going to wait.
Yes.
And we're going to sit tight and see what you do. I actually have a client right now who's just sitting and waiting for somebody to become realistic about the pricing of their home and then go ahead and accept our offer once they've had that experience of waiting and biting their nails about it. So it's important to be a market professional. I think that this is a really interesting time. You know, people are always going to need to buy and sell their homes. We're seeing rates coming down. I doubt they'll ever go back down under 4.
Okay.
But they're talking about approaching like mid-5s before the end of the year.
That would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you find yourself optimistic about the future as far as that goes?
I mean, I am always optimistic about the future. It's imperative.
Exactly.
You know, I don't buy into the sky is falling rhetoric that a lot of people are talking about right now. And with everything being so politically charged right now, I am doing my absolute utmost to just like rise above and keep my eyes on the future. I know that I will be successful because I'm good at my job. Other people won't be because they rely on the craziness of the market or, you know, different variables, but I'm consistent and I am concise and my clients adore me.
Exactly, because you are a real lovely lady, ain't that right? Alrighty. Now, what are some ways you do stay informed about industry changes? And do you have any recommendations for professional development in that area?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So because we've partnered with Place, we hear about things a lot of times before they are public knowledge, which is kind of fun. We're a little exclusive, you know. Goldman Sachs just invested quite a sizable amount into our corporation, and we're going public next year, so we get a little bit of the skinny, you know, that kind of thing. So it's imperative to partner with somebody who's going to provide you with information before the public gets it. You get to be the first one to tell your friends. Having great relationships with lenders so that you get a firsthand experience of what new programs and products there are out there. By the way, if you are a renter currently in the city of Detroit, there is a grant available for $25,000 for down payment assistance.
Wow.
Either that, if you're a renter in the city of Detroit, or you lost a home in the city of Detroit due to tax foreclosure between 2010 and 2016. $25,000 of free money that is not repayable after 5 years. You have to stay in the house for 5 years, and that's free money. You know, so those kinds of things, staying on top of those things and letting your clients know that, you know, you're going to have to pay an earnest money deposit and you're probably going to get a check back at closing.
Absolutely.
You know, how great is that when you go to purchase a home and then you walk out of there with money?
That's pretty amazing.
Because
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
either.
because of the people that I am aligned with, we're making that happen for several of our clients.
That's pretty amazing. Right. So now, I know this isn't a problem for you because you're a people-centric business person. But how did you add your personal touch to your business? Like, how long did it take, and how has it positively affected you?
That's a really good question. I started in this industry very timid, not being afraid to offend people, being afraid to make sure that there were boundaries in place.
Hello, this is Joe from Golden Bear Home Inspections, part of the National Home Services group of companies. We believe in protection with the inspection, and you can give us a call at 989-467-0224 or schedule online at www.goldenbearhomeinspections.com. We look forward to seeing you soon.
I just made a decision that people are either going to love me or they're going to hate me. And I actually have a couple shirts that say I'm not for everyone, because I am a lot. However, it is important for my clients to get to know me so that they open up and allow me to know them. So I show them some of my weirdness. I show them some of, I can make a joke out of anything. I've turned a lot of my past and my trauma into a stand-up routine. So, if they share something with me, I'm like, oh yeah, let me tell you about this. So it bonds us. And I think that that's really important. Knowing who you are and owning who you are is really important. Masking is just not sustainable.
It absolutely is. I can tell by your vocabulary that you've dug a lot into that. You've put a lot of work in.
So much therapy,
how
girl.
Long, that's why you're a good therapist. So how long did it take to implement all of you into your business?
I'd say probably the first 2 or 3 years were a little sketch. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I started selling 40 plus homes a year, and it kind of just started booming because I was unapologetically Heather.
Yes. Well, you just kind of got it. I'm awesome, and I don't need to change for anybody.
It's pretty great to kind of fall in love with yourself, especially when you haven't loved yourself your whole life. So, my husband has been a huge proponent of that as well. He pretty much thinks the sun shines out of my ass. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I swore.
Bleep it. We'll bleep it.
He pretty much thinks everything begins and ends with me. And so it's kind of rubbed off, Yeah. And we're also implementing that with our kids, Anytime our kids say something that's negative about themselves, I say, okay, what else are you?
There you go.
And then we list all the amazing things about who they are. So sometimes it just takes, telling yourself something in the mirror enough times until you believe it. Fake it till you make it, baby.
Gratitude.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And be the change you want to see, right? Mm-hmm.
Hello, this is Joe from Golden Bear Home Inspections, part of the National Home Services group of companies. We believe in protection with the inspection, and you can give us a call at 989-467-0224 or schedule online at www.goldenbearhomeinspections.com. We look forward to seeing you soon.
It's really very basic.
I'm going to buy one after this.
There you go.
Alrighty. Now to just shift towards looking at the home buying process, what role do you see home inspection companies playing in a real estate transaction or home inspections?
Yeah. Home inspections are an imperative part of this process. It's really important for people to know what to expect in the coming years. I know a lot of realtors use the home inspection process as another point of negotiation. The way that I frame it out to my clients is basically what we're going to do is we're going to take a fine-tooth comb through this home, and they're going to give you almost an owner's manual. We're looking at how long it's going to be before you need to start saving for a roof, how long it's going to be before you need to start saving for a furnace, a hot water tank, all of those heavy hitting things that a lot of people don't even realize what their service life is. And so my job before the inspection is to educate them about what the inspection process looks like, but because I know that I need to stay in my lane, I let the inspectors do the educating. And then I often have conversations with my inspectors prior to the inspection about hey, we're going to use this kind of verbiage instead of this kind of verbiage, and let's not talk people out of a sale, making sure that we use good, better, best practices,
right.
Instead of oh, this PEX is going to kill you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
But this is a very stressful time. One of the top 5 most stressful things you can do in your life is purchasing a home or selling a home.
Absolutely.
And so putting their mind at ease about like all of the dangers that their home could have, just making sure that they know that these are very common things. In Michigan, we live in a very precipitous state, however you say that word. And there's going to be water in your basement if you don't manage your downspouts, like things like that my clients know. By the time we get to the closing table, they've heard me mention downspout management at least 24 times.
Yeah.
It's something that I'm passionate about.
Yeah. Well, home maintenance, I feel, is maybe a little bit unknown, but for some regular people, as well as, I've been in the industry for almost 5 years now. I've only seen maybe 2 houses that could only be fixed with a match. Maybe 2.
Right.
So
I always say that. Everything's fixable, it just has a price attached to it.
Exactly. Are there any aspects of a home inspection that you consider crucial?
I never let my clients hear the end of getting a sewer scope.
There you go. I couldn't agree more.
That is something that I actually bake into the price when I'm talking to my clients about what a home inspection costs. I make sure I know what the add-on cost is for that sewer scope, no matter who's doing it. And if the home inspector doesn't provide that service, I am baking on the guy who does them for me.
Right.
So I'm making sure that my clients know that this is something that's really, really important. Unless we have some sort of documentation that the sewer line was just done by a licensed and insured professional, I think that it's worth $125, $175 for that peace of mind, so that you know whether or not you have a $40,000 repair coming.
Absolutely. If there are any big trees in the front of that house,
Yeah.
I mean, God forbid the pipe run under a roadway or something, and then
You break into the city work, and it's just astronomical from there.
Yes, exactly. And I just think most people don't think that those things can happen to them.
Hello, this is Joe from Golden Bear Home Inspections, part of the National Home Services Group of Companies. We believe in protection with the inspection, and you can give us a call at 989-467-0224 or schedule online at www.goldenbearhomeinspections.com. We look forward to seeing you soon.
All right. For new agents, what advice do you have in terms of building a client base, establishing actual credibility, and navigating those initial challenges?
Sure. We have a lot of brand new licensed agents on our team. I think out of the 12 of us, there are 5 that are licensed within the last quarter.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, it's something that we're very passionate about. I'm telling people, I'm driving it into them, call your sphere. Your sphere is the people, your friends and family, the people that you know, your coworkers, the people you worship with, the people that you spend time with. For people who are newer to the state, I tell people to go out and meet their neighbors, ask for their email addresses, airdrop your contact card to people at the grocery store. People have their airdrop on all the time, and I send my stuff to them without consent all the time. And it is what it is. Sometimes they get mad, and sometimes they're like, oh, hey, I needed a realtor, thanks, So it's important to just keep your ears open for conversations about real estate. Don't be afraid to interrupt somebody, and don't be afraid to talk to strangers. Do the opposite of what your parents taught you.
Exactly. I think everybody is networking in some way right now.
Absolutely.
And or seeking connection. So you are going to be pleasantly surprised by what your reach will bring back.
Oh, absolutely. One of my largest referral sources is a past client, and I met her in line at the grocery store. making sure that you're open to new connections and you don't have a FU stamped on your forehead.
That's true.
When you're in
RBF.
public. I mean, it's a real thing. And I had a tendency to do it. And then I started smiling more, and I know that's a thing. And like when people tell me to smile, I do get upset. However, I want to like soften my face because I have a tendency to go hard RBF.
Yeah, I got smile line right
Yeah,
up there.
man. You know, it's important to know that I am approachable, and you know, I will often wear shirts that say, "Talk to me about real estate," or
or a big bag that says Realtor.
Mhm.
Oh, I've noticed like 3 of those within the last month. I've gotten
Yeah.
3 different cards from people just because they're wearing an awesome bag.
Well,
So
and
I
then
think-
like injecting humor into it too. Like I have a shirt that says "Running comps is my cardio."
yeah.
Like,
Oh my god.
it's amazing, right? Like
That's clever.
it makes it sparks a laugh and gets a connection.
That certainly does. Alrighty. Now, how important is it for agents to have an online presence?
Wildly.
Wildly, right? And what strategies do you leverage, in the digital realm right now?
I am posting about all of my closings. I post most of my inspections. One of my inspectors that I use, he's been doing a lot of renovation projects because he's also a builder, which I think gives him a little edge too. But he always gets on a roof for me, and we take a selfie on the roof. And so like I always post those. But then I'm also sprinkling in my personal stuff too. And I'm a very transparent social media person. I share the good, bad, and the ugly, mostly so that people know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
You know, like we've hit a little bit of a financial snag this year, and I've been very candid about it because it's important to know that you're not alone, and that there are other people who are also dealing with these things, and you too can get through this.
Absolutely.
So
Leaves you relatable, right?
yeah, absolutely. You know, if you think you're sharing too much, you're not. People don't see every single thing that you share, even if they're in your direct algorithm.
That is true.
So it's important to share all of your real estate related activities. You know, hey, I'm going to lunch with my broker. Click.
Yeah.
You know, and it takes 30 seconds to take a picture. Throw a filter on if you look homeless. Whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
filters need to be utilized, everyone. Do you feel? Oh God, I had a great question and it just went away.
Oh, I hate that.
I'm so mad right now. We have to skip it. I'm really sorry.
It's okay. When it comes back to you, we'll talk about it.
All right. So, what are some networking strategies that work for you online and offline?
Sure. Well, we are partners with Place, so I've connected with a lot of their realtors nationwide, and in fact, we have some up in Canada as well. I took my son on a little trip up to Toronto to see his boyfriend, and we stopped in at a Place office, and like I got to meet those agents, and it was really cool to be able to connect with people who are affiliated with me who aren't even in the States.
That is really amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to events at your brokerage, going to events at the board. Like our boards provide us with lots of events and entertainment and fun things to do, you know. When you're like we just went to the Tiger game last week, you know, and our entire brokerage went, and we were on the big screen. It was so much fun.
What brokerage? I'm sorry. What board is this brokerage a part of?
This is Good Company. We are an independent brokerage.
Even so, you don't have like a board of realtors.
I mean,
like
we're
Greater Lansing or.
Oh yeah. Sorry, we
Oh, sorry.
Most of us are with Knockbor.
Okay.
Most of us were with GMAR, but when GMAR refused to continue using our MLS, we all had to switch.
Right.
So yeah, most of us are Knockbor. There's some Grosse Pointe agents as well, and then there's also some. There's a Detroit board.
Yeah.
Also.
Well, and you can just go online and see their events, pay affiliates. Like there's all types of ways you can get involved. Specifically,
most of the events that your board puts on are at very minimal cost to you.
Yes, absolutely.
I also go to Lions Club and do a euchre tournament with my father-in-law, and those kinds of things are fun. I am in a local choir, so I spend a lot of time with local musicians, local singers, I guess. And, you know, I just try to rub elbows with as many people as I can.
That's really awesome. We do like a murder mystery trivia.
Oh,
night
that's so
every
fun.
now and again at a
Love
Hamlin
that.
Pub. It's just think of whatever you can to get involved, right?
Absolutely.
All right. How do you adapt to an ever-changing market?
Go ahead.
Yep. How do you adapt to an ever-changing market? And do you have any advice for agents facing market uncertainties, especially right now?
You know, with a lot of the back and forth happening, us versus them, right versus left, you know, all of those things, staying above it, not engaging, making sure that you're listening to the people who are smarter than you. You know, I am very understanding of the fact that I don't know everything.